Welcome to the video discussion on my 2017 winter outlook. Always an interesting time of year, guys. Everybody always wants to know, is it going to be a warm winter? Is it going to be a cold winter? Snow lovers are hoping for cold. Snow haters are hoping for warm. So let's dive right into it so the video is not too long. This is what I put out yesterday, and this is my forecast. Temperatures are on the top, so you can see I'm expecting a very cold winter for New England up into the Great Lakes region. I'm expecting a back and forth winter for the light blue areas, especially over New Jersey, Pennsylvania, southern New England. It will average out to being colder than normal, but it's not going to be frigid. I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of activity going on, storm activity, and a battle zone between warm and cold air really setting up along this boundary. So I kept this more in the slightly below normal category. Down here, average temperatures, that includes South Jersey, that includes Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia is right on the edge there. Again, due to a lot of back and forth between air masses. And then down here, warmer than normal, no snow down here. You can see how the snowfall forecast kind of parlays into that. Heavy mountain snows in Pacific Northwest. I'll explain to you guys why in a minute. Also, decent ski season on the West Coast. Above normal snowfall for central North Jersey, New York City Metro, Boston, back into Pittsburgh, even up here into some of the eastern areas in New York State, into the Chicago area. Again, I'm expecting a lot of storm activity setting up in this region here, and then New England, I think, is going to have a banner year. I really do. It's been a couple of years since they've done well. I think 2017 is going to be a skier's year for New England, again, due to the pattern we're about to discuss in a minute. So diving right into it, anytime you're looking at a winter forecast, there's a lot of different things you have to look at. So what I say is, okay, what's happening currently? What are models projecting? And based on what's happening currently and what the models are projecting, where in history does this look similar? So that's called analoging. So I try to combine all those things together. So for instance, I'll take a look at historical years, what they look like. I'll compare it to models, and I'll try to put my own insight into it and say, okay, what do I think is going to happen? A few things to notice here. These are all ocean temperature patterns. So blue is colder than normal, red is warmer than normal. Notice this region here. This is the El Nino or La Nina region, depending on if it's warm or cold. You can see cold water developing. That is a La Nina. We're not officially there yet, but we're pretty close. But it looks like it's going to be pretty weak. This warm water off the west coast into the Gulf of Alaska with this colder water out here is called the positive phase. It's something called the Pacific Decadal Oscillation. Warm water off the Atlantic, and also a generally warmer pattern in the Atlantic. That's another oscillation that we look at called the AMO. So all these different things can drive the climate, in addition to other factors that we'll go into. But starting with the oceans, for example, if we take a look at, okay, just La Ninas, what kind of patterns do they normally produce? And you can see here, red is high pressure, blue is lower pressure. As you can see, generally, a lot of ridging of high pressure just off the west coast, and you get a lot of active energy pouring in from the north in a La Nina pattern. Now, depending on the strength of it, depends really how all this sets up. But this is just a general sense. You can see, just taking it right from NOAA, they show a similar thing. Pacific jet, northern jet, a lot of convergence in the Pacific Northwest, and then depending how strong it is, really is it going to be a more of a wet and warm winter in the mid-Atlantic or more of a colder and active winter in the mid-Atlantic. Same with that Pacific Decadal Oscillation. So this ring of warmer than normal waters off the west coast, that tends to also to lead to a favorable pattern for East Coast snow lovers. You can see ridging in the west, troughing in the east, and we're seeing that, but we're seeing that with a La Nina. And the interesting thing is, you usually don't get La Ninas and positive Pacific Decadal Oscillations together. So there's a lot of conflicting signals there. Also, I look at snow cover. So a lot of research has been done on the growth of snow cover in Eurasia, especially between the mountains of China and just over this region in October, and its response in the winter to something called the Arctic Oscillation. To make a long story short, the more snow cover, the more the polar vortex gets stressed as you head into the winter season, and the more of a chance that you have the negative phase of the Arctic Oscillation, which is high pressure to the north, and it allows the jet stream to dip south and let all that cold air funnel in, unlike the positive phase, which is just a zonal flow. So snow cover this year, blue, looking very good. And this is why I like to wait till October to put the forecast together, because this is a wild card. If I see a lot of snow growth among other factors, it sometimes tips the scales in the direction I want to go. Okay, going on to models here. Okay, so if we look at the UK Met model, you could see, hard to see, but it has a lot of ridging on the west coast. It's trying to hint that there could be a pocket of low pressure somewhere in the central to eastern part of the United States. Going to the Americans long-range model, similar thing. It shows ridging on the west. It shows this cool pocket that could be developing in the east. What else do I have here? In addition to that, don't really get access to European seasonal. This is all you can see. But you can see it has red over the west, and you can see it looks like it wants to bring troughing or colder air to the east. So this is the model projection. So you look at the model projections, you look at the patterns I just described, and then you say, okay, when in history did things look similar? So I did that. I went back, I found a few years, and here's what I've come up with for my analog package, looking at all the years. This is what it looks like, okay? So again, similar to what you're seeing in the models, ridging on the west, troughing towards the east, a lot of cold air pouring in, but because of that positive PDO and the weaker La Nina, I'm not expecting this area to be as far west as it might be, say, in a strong La Nina year, which would cause more ridging or high pressure along the east coast. I think the warm temperatures along the western coast of North America are going to cause, because of the positive PDO response, a little bit of a shift east in the normal La Nina pattern, which is actually shown with some of these analogs I'm showing you. So this is just at 18,000 feet in the atmosphere, but if we go down to the temperatures, you can see the analogs predict a pretty cold winter. You can see they have a big center over the Great Lakes bleeding into New England. I made a few adjustments. I brought this a little more east based on what some modeling is showing. But my forecast is just a derivative, guys, of these analogs, the observations, and what the actual weather models are showing. Okay, and I like to see if there's some agreement between what the weather models are showing with this cool pocket developing, and also what my analogs have here with this cool pocket developing. So pretty exciting stuff. Precipitation patterns, again, models are showing above average precipitation up here in New England, also Pacific Northwest. So you're really going to see a jet stream similar to this diagram right here, but a little bit more to the east. So here you have an active Pacific jet coming in, crashing into the Pacific Northwest. A lot of storm activity. It's going to come into the east. You have a northern jet coming in from the north. And I am absolutely expecting a lot of storms to converge right here along the east coast. And because of the warm Atlantic temperatures here, I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth. So a lot of mixed precipitation events at times. Mostly all snow in New England. But that's why it's just slightly above normal and not well above normal, because I do think there'll be a lot of mixing events this season for the I-95 corridor and southern New England. That's it for now, guys. Didn't want to take too much time, but I hope you enjoyed the outlook, and we'll see how this verifies. Oh, and by the way, December I think can get off to a very cold start based on my analoging, so we'll see. Thanks for checking.